Hello, social workers, mental health professionals, and change agents. Welcome to another episode of the Social Work Rants podcast. I'm your host, Bass Moreno. Saludos a todos. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. Hope everybody's doing well out there, staying safe. Speaking of staying safe, first and foremost, um, thoughts and prayers goes out to all the people in Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Cuba, and Florida, and Cayman Islands that have been affected recently by the hurricanes that's been happening, that's been dominating headlines, rightfully so. Got family, obviously, in Puerto Rico, and family in Florida, and friends in Florida. So my prayers are with you. If there's anything I can do from my end, please let me know. I am planning or trying to plan a benefit for Puerto Rico. Um, I reached out to a nonprofit agency to do a Zumba event that is in the works. So be on the lookout for that. First and foremost, um, definitely want to like do something, and what better way that to do a Zumba class and have all the money go to a nonprofit that has boots on the ground in Puerto Rico, and I'm sure there's be stuff going going to happen for Florida as well. So um, I'll try to do my part and try to give back in any way that I can. Uh, that's first and foremost. This episode is brought to you by Bass City Entertainment, your home for holistic self care for social workers, mental health professionals, and other helping professionals using poetry and Zumba. Speaking of Zumba, with the featured, um, I guess, featured item on the Bass City Entertainment forefront is my poetry book, 30-page poetry book, Trying Through Pain, How to Maximize Your Full Potential During Hard Times. It is on Amazon and Kindle and also in paperback and also in your local bookstore. If your local bookstore doesn't have it, please get it through your local bookstore. Ask for it, and definitely in Barnes and Nobles they have it, and whatever bookstores are available that ordered copies. So for those who purchased the book, thank you so much. I really truly appreciate it. Um, I'm going to be more than likely try to do some personalized copies and sell it, at least taking orders through Shopify or something like that. That's in the works. And then just doing it myself and see, try to pick up some extra sales. 'Cause, side hustle definitely needs some multiple streams of income. And I've been stressing the entrepreneurship side of things, and there's more. We need to. We as social workers need to think outside the box on ways to get money, not just in social work. So that being said, trying through pain, how to maximize your full potential during hard times is out. Pour my heart, sweat into the book, a 2 year process. So it's out and available. And speaking of books, if you're in New York City, also in there's going to be a to get virtual tickets as well. I'll put the link in the show notes. Latinx and Social Work Volume 2, the book. The book launches Wednesday, October 5th. I am one of the contributing authors of the book. Um, again, poured my heart, something that I've been wanting to write about for quite a long time. Didn't know how the best way to go about doing that, or should I really put myself out there like that? But um, I definitely did. People who know me uh, are going to be shocked, definitely surprised. Uh, if you purchase the book, you're going to be definitely surprised. Um, and even my colleagues, I'm sure, will be somewhat surprised of what I wrote, what I've been through, and it's a piece of me. It's a part of my life. It's evolving story for the rest of my time here on Earth, and looking forward to getting people's feedback from it. So, if you uh, heard the episode with Tim Ryan, you will have the idea of somewhat of an idea of what I wrote about in the book. So go back to listen to that episode and definitely talking about that. And even last week's episode with Trey, there's a little bit of a theme with what I wrote about the Latinx and social work book with our episode last week. So the last two episodes kind of go hand in hand a little bit, touches on the themes of what I wrote for the book. So I'm looking forward to it. I will be there in New York City signing books. I'm meeting my fellow co-authors, many of them for the first time in person, and a lot of great people, a lot of amazingly talented social workers doing great work in the field and putting in that work. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great event. Um, I'm excited. Definitely getting my hand ready to sign books. I've been signing my own books, so I already got practice into that. So, uh, two-time author as of next Wednesday officially, and that's very blessed, very thankful. God is working. He's working. And my mom in heaven, my guardian angel, she, I picture her in God's ear, like working, like keep blessing my child, keep blessing my child. So, um, yeah, so that's the whole story regarding that. So this week's episode, uh, wanted to touch on ending the stigma regarding HIV and AIDS. Uh, back doing social work, case management with the AIDS, HIV adult community, this time in Delaware. I'm not going to name the agency. If you know, you know. Um, Delaware is a small state. People know people. So I'm not going to say anything. But those that do know. And been there almost 2 months now. It's definitely a change of pace that I needed from working in the school system the last year and a half, especially last year. Last year was, um, you know, if you listen to the podcast, you understand how the struggles I had this past school year with the kids and administration and just the agency I worked at. And it's like I'm glad I'm not there anymore. And hearing my my wife working as part of the school system and hearing stories, I'm glad I only work in the school if I really had to pay bills. Otherwise, the school is not for me. Um, that being said, uh, it's some working with HIV. Um, been wanting to get back into it somehow, some way for a few years now. Know me, I'm a job hopper, and I've seen jobs out there, but just salaries and just the pay that some of these jobs I've seen is horrible. And it's like with masters, with license, and it's like it's not a living wage. And this job came. It's almost like too good to be true. I saw the job posting on LinkedIn and on Indeed, so you know if it's on LinkedIn, it got to be legit. Went to the interview once. Um, it's like middle of nowhere, their office, and and it was like I went there. It was like and rocked the interview. Was myself. Was honest. Even like negotiated kind of where I wanted to be because they have multiple locations, multiple jobs in different locations, and it's like gave them the truth. I'd rather work over here, but if you offer the job over here, I want it, and I'm going to take it if you offer it. So that's basically what happened. It took a process, like you know, stuff, some stuff happened outside my control that kind of delayed the process even more, but it happened. Been there a month and a half, almost 2 months, and clients come to me. I don't got to do visits, just paperwork, computer, kind of like a desk job, but it's not a desk job. You're running around making copies and printing paperwork and doing this and doing that. So no home visits. I don't gotta deal with the elements of rain, snow, 90-degree weather, three below zero type of weather doing visits, which I've done in my past. Um, Especially again back to the change of pace after last year, chasing kids in the hallway. Um, all, all the things that like having like being spat at, kids spitting at me, punching me, kicking me, kids throwing chairs, kids flipping tables, and kids doing the same kids doing the same thing every day. It's like Groundhog Day, and I don't have to deal with that where I'm at. And the job came, it was the money was right, and the population wanted to get back into it, and it's like whoa, like this is really like I'm happy. Um, a couple weeks back, I actually did a AIDS walk. I wanted to do an AIDS walk for a long time. And, with COVID, that didn't happen, even though they did one like virtually. But went to AIDS walk, participated with my brand new coworkers, and it was a lot of fun. Meeting people and just getting to know the vibe of the company, getting a vibe of new coworkers, getting a vibe of other agencies that were there, and making connections and getting exercise because been slacking on the exercise front. But definitely it's been a good experience so far. Knock on wood, knocking wood right now. Continues that way and do the best I can. And definitely, if you don't know, um, people are not dying from AIDS or from HIV anymore. Even AIDS, if you take your meds, you get diagnosed, and you take your meds right away, you can live a long, healthy life. Um, there's side effects of the medication. You might get sick from the side effects of the medication, or something else pops up. HIV, people are not dying from HIV anymore, which is why possibly like people, these jobs don't want to pay people who work in the field because or funds get cut because people are living longer, and that's a good thing that people are living longer. Um, you know, getting, this is my third different organization that I work with the HIV population. It's a lot of information, learning, medicate what medications are out there. Kind of put two and two together and see commercials for medications. Like, oh, that's an HIV medication, and making those connections and there's so much research and articles out there and like that for some reason that gravitates me. I want to know more about it. Be well versed in it, and people always talk about Magic Johnson. He's lived with it for such a long time to a point. There's rumors that he's cured. He doesn't have it anymore, but that's near here or there. But if you take your meds and you follow routine and medication management, can live a long time. You're not going to get HIV from you know shaking hands or using the bathroom. It's a sexually transmitted disease. It's also IV use if you share needles, um, any blood to blood contact. Um, so I want to debunk some of these myths that still out there. HIV/AIDS been around since the '80s. I've been working with clients that lived this whole time since the '80s with HIV and AIDS, and taking the meds and still living their life as best they can, and living proof that HIV is no longer a death sentence. It's not. Um, and there's work that needs to be done to continue to end the stigma. Homophobia is still prevalent out here, even within social work, out regular society. Um, um, it's just we just live in an interesting time, and you know, and part of my role is to you know help my clients, help erase the stigma that involves educating people. That's including family as well, and that is a good way with two kids. And you know, what better way than to learn about it and ways to prevent it, and then at home, and then without hearing it for the first time in a school setting. So um, it kind of provide that education at home. Um, so it's a good opportunity. I'm looking forward to having those conversations with my kids about it. Um, Obviously, without not giving client information, but just what is HIV, what is AIDS, like how can you get that, what exactly is it, and so having those important conversations that we as parents need to have with our kids. So that being said, um, it's only been a month and a half. Like I said, it's no home visits. The only thing that sucks is the hour and a half drive, but from New York, and I've done hour and a half commutes to get to work in the past, so it's nothing new. The only difference for me is I'm driving the whole time instead of taking naps on a train or a bus to get to work. So that's the only difference. I'm jamming in my car. I'm dancing, like got listen to my '90s, 2000s hip hop, R&B, and to work and driving back home. So um, just where people in Delaware don't know how to drive. So just always like be on the lookout on the roads, and uh, that's really like the biggest adjustment so far. And waking up extra early, getting to work early than I'm used to, and the hour and a half commute, which I've done. Like I said, I've done in the past. So uh, besides that, I'm glad. For my body is it's like less taxing on my body. Um, no visits. Clients come to me and do the paperwork, and really, um, enjoying doing the work, and I'm looking forward to things that coming along with the work. The work is uh, going to get difficult, especially with Medicaid recertifications and Medicaid audits and all that with insurance coming comes into play and other things that's happening um, housing referendums are being cut from COVID, so anticipating foreclosures happening, people losing apartments, so and there's a extreme lack of resources here in the state of Delaware and throughout the U.S. So there's a lot of work that needs to happen, and with very few resources. So, um, and I'm always up. I'm always up for a challenge. So, what was a learning curve, the paperwork, and EMR charts, and all this other stuff. So, um, really, this episode short, sweet, to the point. I'm excited for this new opportunity I have going on. Taking it one day at a time, leaving it in God's hands. Uh, really, and thanking God every day for His blessings, and I guess I had to go through what I went through last year, working in the school system, and I had thoughts of quitting many, many, many times. Um, but being under a contract, wasn't trying to get sued for not for breach of contract. So I did it. I survived the school year, and God blessed me with an opportunity to work with a population, one of the most um, that I'm most passionate about, that and addictions. So um, hence what I wrote about in the Latinx social work book is about addiction, um, and the importance of that, and sharing a piece of me uh, in my chapter. So um, that being said, short and sweet to the point with this episode. I just wanted to share like my good news finally about this job, and definitely for people listening or watching, find who are not happy with their jobs, like find something you're passionate about, and there's jobs opening constantly. So just keep looking. People want to talk trash about Indeed, like Indeed works, like LinkedIn. Um, go to play. I tell people go to places that social workers are not usually in the room. Gotta make outside connections, meet people that do other things, and use social work skills. Like there's like you know people looking for uh, related to housing and building management, and people looking to like housing inspectors, like do type of work and help people out in different ways, and use our MSW degree. Like we don't have to be licensed. Now, if you want to do the clinical work and do the therapy, then obviously do that route. But um, you don't have to get a license to make your money by using social work skills. So if you got people skills and what you learn in grad school, and put it into practice and do what works for you, what makes you happy. Uh, there's different ways to make money out here. So um, definitely, and find a passion. I had my former program director in one of my jobs, who was my social work intern supervisor. Um, signed off on my hours in one of my internships, and told me like find a passion, find a population that intrigues you, that you want to work with, and working in the HIV AIDS population, working with adults. I've had a couple kids who were born HIV positive and been on machines and how to get uh, their HIV meds, um, through an IV. So that was not pleasant to experience. But working with adults, sometimes adults act like kids. So um, you know, anything related to social work is a challenge. So like I said, I'm up for a challenge, whatever comes my way. Do the best I can and keep pushing, keep trucking along. I got a book. Got as of October 5th will be two books, 2 time having published. Also, there's a couple magazine articles. So if you follow me on social media, follow the podcast at the Social Work Rants Podcast. I'll be putting links to the articles soon. Also follow the Bass City Entertainment, putting articles on on the IG of Bass City Entertainment, on the Social Work Rants Podcast, and also on my Facebook pages. So the full article more than likely be on the Facebook page and also on the link tree, um, and also my website, bassmoreno.com. Um, so you see what we working hard, uh, trying to get the side hustle popping, um, and definitely be on the lookout for this Zumba event to benefit Puerto Rico. Hopefully, I can have the details for the next next episode, uh, which I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. So, usually, with the podcast, let's start with the podcast real quick. Sometimes I'll be stuck in a rut and like, what the heck am I gonna talk about? Like, I want to drop an episode Friday and be like, no idea what I'm going to talk about, and then stuff seems to always happen in the news and relates to social work, and end up talking about it. So I'm in one of these ruts again. So that's why I like to have guests and interview guests. So if you want to be on the podcast, shoot me an email at Bass City Entertainment LLC at gmail.com. It's BASCITY Entertainment LLC. That's all one word at gmail.com. Let's make something happen. Um, love to interview social workers. One of my goals for the podcast is to interview at least one social worker in all 50 states. For my international viewers and listeners, I've met people from England and from Canada. So any other country that want to be on the podcast, I'll do the time difference and set something up, and we could record and chop it up, talk about what is going on related to social work or mental health. So, that being said, um, I'm happy with the job so far. Not trying to go anywhere. Um, I said that 2 jobs ago, and then stuff popped off. So I'm not trying to go anywhere. It's a job I can stay there for a while, a while. Um, and that I'll get this Bass City Entertainment and keep growing and keep talking about my company, keep doing events, um, doing vendor, be a vendor at local events or different states, and just put myself out there, shooting my shot like I've been doing all for the last couple of years, and see where this takes me. So definitely you gotta shoot your shot. Whatever idea you got, just do it. Um, and see where it goes. Like I'll be shooting my shot next week in New York on October 5th, and meeting people and exchanging ideas and getting autographs. I want to get autographs for all my fellow authors with the book and have my books in my hand and read my own chapter and read everybody else's chapter, hear their story, and read their story, and read Trying Through Pain, my poetry book. It's 30 pages, soaking wet, front and back. Uh, and be working to try to get it on Audible as well, as I mentioned before. So I gotta get a special microphone for me to do that. So uh, I'm a one-person show for now, so it's entrepreneurship is a lot of work, and with a full-time job, two kids, uh, newlywed, and a caregiver for an elderly parent is a lot. So that being said, until next time, y'all stay safe. Uh, Again, prayers to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Cayman Islands, and Florida. Uh, those hurricane season is here. Uh, and unfortunately, there's a lot of damage and people without electricity. And it's just, and people want to say global warming is not real. So um, these storms are just going to get worse and worse. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all. Y'all stay safe. Gracias a todos por su apoyo. If you're going to New York, hope to see y'all in New York for the Latinx Social Work Volume 2, the book signing. Tickets are also available virtually, so definitely get your tickets. Hope to see you there. Hope to, whether it be virtually, in person, I'll sign your book. If you're both trying through pain and you're going to the event, bring your book, I'll sign it. Look forward to meeting um, many talented, amazing people. And take care, y'all. Peace.